We have a lot of easy A's to talk about here and a lot of units to talk about. I'm gonna throw UI Goku into the part one easy A's just because, and also Gogeta as well, even though he kind of like easy A's later on. But either way, we're sticking all of these units into part one specifically because the countdown kind of doesn't really count. Like I can't just make a part one where it's just the countdown, obviously. And then I'll slide Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken in here too, because they drop before Beast Gohan and Gamma, so we'll have it like that, right? But either way, let's go ahead and just talk about the first part of the anniversary. So we already have the data download for the UI sign Goku in the game. He's obviously very good, and with more information coming out for Dodge, I think that it definitely does impact him just a little bit. So before, when Dodge was calculated, we thought that the way that it happens is for things that say something like an additional dodge for that turn, we thought it was a separate stat. And let me just to look up Yamcha, for example. Cool. But for something like INT Yamcha, for example, he was a little bit on that side or that coin, just because it's just like he's a character who gets more dodge the more he attacks. So what we thought was it went like 50% chance to dodge, then like 56, 62, 63, 70, 73, 74. Like it was, but that's how we just thought it worked. And then we found out more information about dodge, where it's just like, no, if it says dodge in the passive, it just adds more to that dodge, to that stat. So it's additive, it's not multiplicative. With that information coming out, it means that this guy will have an 84% dodge chance at the start of turn until he is attacked. Until he is hit, that's when he will lose that dodge chance, unfortunately. And he'll just go down to 70. That being said, I think that what is probably best for this guy is still most likely going to be dodge. I would still say that mostly dodge for this character is the best, because he's going to be tanking normals mostly fine. Even then, you don't even want him to be tanking those 9 times out of 10. And the reason why is because this character has it where if you avoid an attack at the start, his attack will increase for 77% from that turn. Meaning that most of the time you want him to be put in the first slot, so that way he can have the attack boost. You're not like forced to, obviously, but if you're going to use him in his best position, and if you're going to be using him in slot 1 and wanting to get his best attack stats and all that, it obviously is best to put him in slot 1 and allow that to happen. That being said, if you're doing that, I would definitely go for full dodge. If not, I could see going for maybe a full additional instead. Definitely do not go crit. He already has 77% crit chance, so don't if he has 5 crit, he doesn't need any more, right? So mostly dodge, or you could do like half dodge, half additional. But either way, just make sure that you're doing additional or dodge for this character. I think that's going to be the best, especially because, like I was talking about, he's getting some attack and defense on this too, and the defense lowering doesn't really matter, but it will help him taking those normals a little bit more. Then we have Gogeta. So Gogeta is a very funny fellow, right? Let me translate the page. He has it where he can dodge. He's got the guard for 3 turns. You're most likely going to be wanting to put him in the 4th turn, so that way he can transform starting from turn 4 onwards. Stuff like that. He has it where he can do the additional super attack as long as you can get the Rainbow Key Sphere. Like, all of that stuff is very good. I would probably say that going for additional, either additional or dodge for this guy is I would probably say additional, though, only because, let's see, I believe he gets it, yeah, right here. He already has type effective against all types, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically the multiplier for all of his attacks will always be 1.5 times, because it'll always be type effective. Crit is just a 2.0 multiplier. So going from doing basically type effective to doing crits is not really going to matter that much. So it's just going to be such a small number increase. It doesn't matter, right? I think going for, like I said, like either a full dodge build just so that way you can be a little bit safer, or maybe going for a full additional just that way you can get that extra attack and defense for that one turn is definitely going to be better. And then once you do transform, it's just going to obviously have the dodge chance anyways. So like if you're trying to max out like the potential of the character, I guess going for full additional will probably just be the best, so that way you could have everything. But again, I would recommend doing it where it's just, because he gets crits here too as well, so it's just like a character again who just doesn't need crits. I would argue that getting it where it's just full dodge is probably the best, especially because I don't think he has dodge. He has guard though. But yeah, I think going full dodge on this character is going to be the best thing to do. Broly is kind of the character that it's just like it doesn't really matter what you build. Let me just go ahead and translate. So he already has guard. He has it where he has multiple additional attacks in his super, or his passive. He's got a lot of additional attacks in there, especially when he transforms. He has it like right here with his intro. He'll get an additional super attack guaranteed. So it's just like a lot of that, and then his is from turn 5 and onwards, right? But then once you transform, it's just like, again, it's just it truly just doesn't matter, right? He's still guarding. He has damage reduction before he attacks, as long as he has the domain up. He has it where he's doing crits here, he's doing crits here. So I think this again, this is probably just another character you just want to go full dodge on. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but the thing is that they definitely designed these anniversary units in a specific way, so it makes sense that that very specific way is just going to kind of be the same in all of them, right? But this character is not a character who wants to be put in slot 1 regardless until he transforms, and then he's a pretty decent slot 1, right? It's guarded 26% damage reduction, all those beefed up stats, of course. But yeah, I would definitely say like putting him in slot 1 will just make it where it's very risky. So if you are forced to do that situation, having it where you're just going in and having a like 15%, 20%, whatever percent chance to dodge and not take those normal attacks that will do like over 100k to you, it definitely is going to help out in the end. Golden Frieza is, you know, I'm so tempted not to say dodge, but at the same time it kind of just is, right? So anytime that he attacks, the attacker is received or he evades, he gets a guaranteed crit for that turn. His attack is increased 1 time, and then his defense is increased for 3 turns. Then he gets extra damage reduction for the first turn, then he gets damage reduction for the turn after that, and then for the 5th turn he gets 40% damage reduction. He also gets 20% as long as there's an additional super boss on the team, or like on the rotation, right? Then he also gives the support. So I think for a support floater type character, even or like a float, or not a floater, like a unit who is in the main rotation at the start and then kind of floats off at the end, I think having it, like I said, we're just going no crits because he already has crits built in, either full additional so that way you can maybe tank those normals, but I think just having it where he's dodging them is going to be a lot more beneficial for him. This is a character that I will definitely say to go full additional for, though. Just as a way to mix it up a bit. So this character gets, he increases defense infinitely. He has it where they reduce attack. He is giving support to Pure Saiyans and join forces. He has it when if there's a Pure Saiyan or superhero and on the enemy team, he increases his ki by 3. It gets an additional 180% attack. Has a 50% chance to do an additional super. He gets an additional super, 50% additional super when he does a super. He gets 26% damage reduction for that turn any single time that he does a super. So he can get literally up to 100% damage reduction, like 104%. So Going full additional for this guy, not only to maximize his defense, but also maximize his damage reduction, get that literally as much as possible, is going to be best. Not only with that, but when this character is not going to be the main damage dealer, he just wants to be a support floater who is having a lot of defense. You definitely want this guy to be able to proc as much additionals as possible. Going full additionals is definitely the move for this guy. Only issue is obviously there's only 2 teams. It's just pure Saiyans and joined forces. Then we have PHY Broly Trio. Now, the thing with this character is that it's another odd situation with where you just really don't know what to do. The main issue with that is just because this character has literally all of this stuff already in his passive. So they have a 50% chance to dodge. They have it where if you get 6 or more orbs, you get dodge just guaranteed. They have it where there's somewhere where they get like additional super attack. Where is that at? Right here. When the energy is 24 or more, a special move is guaranteed, so they get an additional super attack, and they also get damage reduction for the entire rotation, which is, as long as they're movie bosses or super bosses. The orb changing at the bottom too to help get that 7 orbs even more. Again, the thing is that this guy isn't the main, they aren't the main damage dealer. I would say this is like one of the units that it truly is just up to you. Like for me personally, this is not the main character on my team, so I will probably go for a full dodge build. But if you are trying to maximize out just the potential of this character, I would 100% say to do something more along the lines of a crit build. But then again, look at Cellmax, look at AGL Broly, look at a lot of these top tier characters on the super bosses, movie bosses team, and you'll realize that this character, even when they are getting the massive amount of orbs, when their HP is 39% or below and they're getting literally 23 key spheres, that damage is literally only for 1 turn, and 99% of the time this unit is mainly just supposed to be a support character that has good offense, not a good offensive character that has good support, right? Their main role is not to be the damage dealer. So if you're trying to maximize out their defense capabilities, going for full dodge is obviously going to be the best. Just remember that they already have a 50% chance to dodge to begin with. Do make sure that you obviously always go and at least put like 3, 6, 9 additional attack in their builds, because even though they are getting it activated anyways, you do still want to have that chance to just proc that additional super attack, especially when they are getting it where they're getting 50% additional attack and defense for 1 turn. It'll help it where they'll be able to tank those normals a lot better than most of the time, right? So if you're going for an offensive build, even though this is more of a support character, you could definitely go for crit or additionals. Again, I would probably say if for more offensively, you would want to do crit, but that's if only you're planning on getting 7 orbs each time. If you really aren't, you're kind of unlucky, just go for a full dodge build like I am, right? Let's go ahead and go into STR Bardock and Gine. Again, this is another character, well, unfortunately, it's the same song and dance that we've been doing this whole entire time. Just do a full dodge build on them. The main issue is that they literally have only flat stats in their entire passive, and what I mean by that is they don't have guard, they don't have damage reduction, they don't have dodge. If they get hit by anything that is able to kill them, they will die, and that is just the unfortunate thing. The reason why is because they have it where it's just this powerful active skill of not only giving it 22% attack for 2 turns, but also curing abnormal conditions, which is very powerful considering the fact that a lot of these characters are sealing, stunning, blocking rotations, doing all of this stuff to hurt your team, having it where as long as you're above or below 80% HP starting from the 4th turn, you're able to cook with this active skill, have it where you're able to do this. It truly doesn't matter, right? You're able to play with it a lot more. Not only that, but they have the powerful ability of supporting for 2 turns with their super attack, getting 22% attack and defense for all allies, not only on their rotation but the next rotation, when most of the time you want to be floating them anyways, right? That being said, like I said, they have no defensive capabilities inside of the passive, no guard, no damage reduction, no dodge. So putting that dodge is definitely going to be the best for these characters, just because they will literally die under any other circumstance. You either dodge that super attack with 15% chance or you lose. Like I said, this is Even though this character EZAs in like part 3 of the celebration, I think it's still warranted to talk about them. So unfortunately, this is a little bit misleading. So Monados has already tested this character when they did release and saw that even though you can do multiple super attacks with them, they do not permanently increase their evasion by 19% for the entirety. It is only 19% for that turn, unfortunately, even though it doesn't say that for one turn part at the end of this passive. Because of that, this character is very hard to run because they only have a 19% chance to live. That being said, I think having it where it's just like, I don't know, I guess like a max additional or max dodge build would be best, especially because with 9 key spheres they're already critting. They have it where they get type effective with just 5 key spheres as well. So again, it's probably just better not to just go crit at all. When there's a yeah, they get extra key and attack with, as long as you're running a superhero movie hero. Like, but the only issue is that this guy doesn't have any orbs. If he had orb changing, I don't even know if it would be usable, but at least it would help out with making this guy a lot better. But he has no orb changing, so he's creating a problem that he unfortunately can't fix. Speaking of fixing a problem, these guys make orbs. They have it where right here, as long as you're running a superhero ally on the team, you'll make 1 orb into a rainbow. They also have it where with each rainbow orb you will not only get 7% crit and damage reduction, but you'll also get an additional attack that has a high chance or 50% chance of being a super attack up to 3 times per turn. Remember, I'll keep talking about this. While the 7% damage reduction and crit won't be tied to that maximum of 3 times per turn, obviously the additional attacks will be. So you can get 28% crit chance if you do get 4 rainbow key spheres, but just remember that you'll only be able to get the 3 additional attacks. Not only that, but this character gets 24 key very, very extremely easily too. So when they have something like this in their passive where it's just like when he is 24, guaranteed critical hit, and then if the HP is 50% or below, you get the damage reduction. That makes it worse. Just like, again, a lot of the times you're going to get not only the additional attack and the crits guaranteed, so that is not a huge thing about them. I would definitely go for like 8, 11-ish additional attack for sure, but mostly just the rest dodge, just because, again, we were talking about it earlier, a lot of these characters have it where they can stun your characters, have it where you can have it, what is it? They seal them, they lock them, especially the locking thing. It can definitely kill these characters if you just don't have it where that if you get this character locked in slot 1, their damage reduction is not until after they attack. So they have to attack first and then they get the 70% damage reduction, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? So you have to be really careful with that, because AoEs can kill this character, locks can kill this character, you know, a lot of this stuff can definitely kill this character. So you do want to have some sort of defense to be able to counter that, have that, again, 15% chance, 18%, 21% chance to basically be able to dodge and hopefully live whatever is coming at you, and anything will help, right? And like I said, everything else is kind of guaranteed anyways. You're already going to be critting from passive, you're already going to be having it where you're doing additional attacks, so it's going to be able to proc even easier. So they get additionals, and they also get a lot of key from their passive. They get 4 key right off the bat. They get an additional 2 just from getting a rainbow. They also get additional attack and defense from getting just key scores in general. They have very, very good links. Tournament of Power giving them 3. Well, hold on, let's go ahead and do this. Tournament of Power giving them 3 key, stuff like that. What's another one? Is that the only key link that they have? I totally forgot about that. Yeah, Tournament of Power making it where they get 3 key, and then we literally just talked about a whole bunch of Tournament of Power EZAs. So they're going to be getting lots and lots of key, right? But other than that, we'll go ahead and stop there. In the next video, I'll probably link it down in the description once I do record it and do upload it. We'll go ahead and look at Beast Gohan, Gammas, you know, all of the part 2 maybe we'll even stick in MUI and Vegeta as well, because we'll just make it like a part 1 of part 2, right? But other than that, hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. As always, if you guys did find this helpful at all, let me know what you guys think. What builds are you guys going to go for these characters? Answer down in the comments, obviously. But yeah, other than that, thank you as always, Wolf, for being a member. Thank you as always, you guys, for making it this far. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.